For the based on the pilot study ng motorcycle taxi, Mr. Chair.
Yes, you're the one conducting
Yes.
the pilot study. Kaya ako nga tinatanong.
Kuwan lang, sir. It's only delivery of persons. I mean, transport of...
Mr. Chair, just a few points po, no? It's confusing rin for us, I think, members ng TWG. Pag sa TWG, all clear. Tapos pag nandito, lumalabas yung comments ulit from the resource persons who we already invited then. Well, Mr. Chair, okay, so I think on this particular subject, we understand that there's this understanding now that the DICT will cover in transit, but the operator, the regulation would come with the LTFRB. But Mr. Chair, just to clarify rin for the record, kasi nalilito rin kami, even before the TWG, this was left hanging. Yung PEMEDES, this is supposedly under the DICT. And I understand the history here is it has to do with mail and cargo. Actually, dati DOTC pa po tayo, no? That's why no problem yet. But during the first hearing natin dito on this TWG report, the LTFRB mentioned that under naman sa kanila yung LBC and other... Is that correct, Mr. Chair? May we find out from LTFRB? They have the regulatory framework. They have the regulatory powers over LBC or yung mga other cargo.
Yes, Mr. Chair. If a delivery company delivers from various entities, it comes within the coverage of LTFRB. Pero ikaw ay private delivery lang ng isang company and the company owns the truck, then it's not within the coverage of LTFRB.
So, Mr. Chair, in this case, for example, yung sa OAPP natin that we have envisioned, the rider is delivering under one entity, supposedly for the app. But of course, it's between different sellers and different buyers. This is not in conflict with the regulatory framework ng LTFRB?
Mr. Chair, from my understanding po, yung mga magdi-deliver po are operating under different logistics services. So I believe it will not be in conflict because they are not registered under the platform, the app, but with the delivery company po. The marketplace po is just a place to yun nga po where all the sellers post and the buyers buy. But when it comes to delivery, we have multiple delivery service providers po, which these motorcycles are under.
So despite PEMEDES, yung mga ating service providers would still be under the LTFRB?
No po, Mr. Chair. They are still with the DICT. It's just that I believe because we do not have jurisdiction over the motorcycles themselves. Because for PEMEDES po, marami pong modes of delivery. This involves the walking messengers, those who use the bicycles, electronic vehicles, three-wheeled vehicles. So, iba-iba po sila ng mode of delivery and yun nga po, we do not regulate that. We regulate the operators, the business, not how they transport it. I mean, yes, how they transport it, but the vehicle they utilize, if any, we do not have jurisdiction over that.
So, in the current framework po, no, yung given Lazada, Shopee, you only regulate yung business side ng apps?
Delivery.
The delivery
Yes po.
from their port. But you want to pass on to right now, so for example yung Lazada and Shopee, what are you actually regulating? Yung delivery lang, that means do they get a franchise from the ICT?
Yes po, bali yung delivery services po na accredited din po yung ibang companies. Can I name a few?
Per rider basis ba ito?
Per operator po.
Per
Yes
operator?
po. Like for example, if you're going to order in Lazada, it's not going to be delivered by, it may not be delivered by Lazada itself, but other providers like was mentioned before, like LBC, JNT, and others po. Yes po, kung ano po available at kung ano po accredited sa seller po.
So in the instance that now we now have a sort of hybrid, kasi this is not, actually this was brought up by one of the representatives, I think last, during the first hearing, and we talked about it with COMSEC. We have a proposed amendment na to the definition of OAPP, but how about, this is a point of confusion, the riders who serve delivery but for walang intermediary like Lazada or Shopee, let's say Lalamove or yung Grab na Express, would this fall under PEMEDES?
Yes po, because they are in the business of delivery po.
But it's the same with LBC, right? They are also in the business of delivery.
Apo, but the one we're applying for license po is the operator, not the individual riders po.
So in the case of right now with the Lalamove and Grab Express, they apply.
Yes po.
Yung LBC, they are not applying.
They are po.
They also
Yes
apply
po,
with
po.
the ICT. So kung ano man yung system ng that you have now over LBC, that will be the same applied here now.
I think so po. I believe so.
We have a working system for that. Mr. Chairman, we hear from the LTFRB yung how that works. For example, sa LBC, it will just now be adapted for 2 wheels. Tama po ba?
Mr. Chair, if I may po. I think the delineation from here is that LTFRB will focus on the transport of persons. In our side po, in parcels. So,
But Mr. Chair, that's precisely, this is still parcels. Grab, Move, Grab, Express.
yes po.
In the same way, LBC.
So that we will not have like a concurrent jurisdiction because yung delineation po is yung parcel lang po yung covered ng DICT.
Mr. Chair, maybe hear from the LTFRB. How would this be expressed now? I understand that you have already, that given the current practice, there's already a delineation in mind between the DICT and the LTFRB. But how do we express this in law? Because I understand from the interpretation also of this the members of the TTWG and of the good chairman, nalilito po kami dito sa Section C, how will we word it in such a way to express that delineation? Kasi po, I think that would also solve the problem ng mga riders who are confused when does the app stop, when does delivery begin, etc. etc. Mr. Chair, for example, yung current framework nyo, ano ba yung wording ng framework for LBC and yung...
I think, Mr. Chair, it comes from the definition of parcel because parcel has a specific size and weight dimension lang po, limited. So, this is specified by the field post. So, the maximum weight requirement of a parcel is that it should not exceed 20 kilograms. And then, for the dimensions, the length and the one side should not exceed 2 meters. And the total measurement of the whole parcel should not exceed 3 meters. So that's our qualification po. If it's bigger than that, we no longer consider it as parcel po, and therefore it does not fall within the jurisdiction of the ICT.
So anything bigger, that's purely LTFRB?
No,
as cargo?
Cargo po, as cargo.
So who is regulating cargo?
I'm not sure po.
But-
Pero
Mr. Chair, regardless, di naman naabot siguro 20 kilograms yung sa motorcycles. So I don't think we have to consider, as of now, yung cargo. But dun sa parcel, I think, Mr. Chair, I think what we need right now is a definition. So provide, not really a definition, a precise wording that the LTFRB will provide to emulate truly how they are currently doing, for example, Lalamove and Grab. Because I think the LTFRB had questions on paragraph C.
LTFRB.
Mr. Chair, let me to at least clarify everything. Let me just cite a clear example for LBC. Sarili nila yung truck. So we do not accredit them because it is their own truck that delivers the very items that they are hired for. For Lalamove, wala silang sariling mga sasakyan. So when these motor vehicles now would be the delivery mode for Lalamove, these motor vehicles have to be accredited by LTFRB. Kasi sir, wala pong sariling sasakyan si LTFRB and these are now common carriers as against a private carrier ni LBC. Dahil yung truck ang may-ari si LBC. Yung sa Lalamove, wala silang common carrier to do that. So they hire other trucking companies. And when they are hired, they now become common carriers. They now fall within the ambit of LTFRB. That is the distinction, Mr. Chair.
Clear ba yung doubts mo?
I suppose, Mr. Chair, for the purposes of the MC taxi, there are questions, of course, of how this will translate to common carriers in general. But for the meantime, I guess we can, that interpretation for our provision would suffice.
Matanong ko lang. Nahihilo na itong chairman eh. Ito bang motorcycle taxi for hire would include also non-individuals na i-deliver? Or it will only pertain to people that will, avail of this kind of transportation? Kayo, kung ano.
Sir, from our definition, from the definition here, motorcycle taxi covers delivery of individuals, persons.
Would it cover delivery of parcels?
For the based on the pilot study ng motorcycle taxi, Mr. Chair,
Yes, you're the one conducting
Yes.
the pilot study. Kaya ko nga tinatanong.
kuwan lang sir, it's only delivery of persons. I mean, transport of persons.
Transport of
Yes,
person.
under the pilot
Individuals.
study. Yes, Mr. Chair. Hindi ho sakop yung mga goods sa pilot study na binigay po ng Congress sa amin.
Dahil dito sa motorcycle taxi, kailangan din ng apps. So yung operator ng apps, yun ang kokontrolin ng DICT.
On the matter of the apps, yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Yung ang tanong ko, very clear naman
That's
yung
under
tanong
the
ko.
OEPP.
Ha?
Under the OEPP.
Yes. Yung online e-commerce platform. Parang parcel pa rin yan.
Yes, online e-commerce platform. That should be under the DICT, Mr. Chair. But for the motorcycle for hire or the MTPP, that should fall within the LTFRB because you transport passengers.
Yes, pero yung mga riders are dependent also on an application, right?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
That one is being controlled by the ICT, not you.
Yung platform, sir.
Yes, yun na nga.
Yes, sir.
Very clear na tayo doon.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Na yung apps, the ICT, yung rider sa inyo.
Yes, Mr. Chair. That's the
At
delineation.
saka ang i-deliver, tao lang.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Chairman?
For the motorcycle taxi yan, Mr. Chair. Ha?
Yes.
Sir.
Itong buwan naman nito, batas motorcycle taxi nga eh.
Noted, Mr. Chair.
Oh. Sinisiguro ko lang.
Mr. Chair, to be fair po, no, with the LTFRB, there is some confusion rin talaga, as you mentioned, as properly pointed out, now we have also a definition of parcel because this bill encompasses not only MC taxi, but motorcycle for hire. So, kaya na-include na rin po yung OEPP. But, seeing that they have now come to an agreement on the delineation and may existing framework, okay na rin po siguro yung provision that they provided, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I think they provided a addition to this, Mr. Chair. Their original comment, Mr. Chair. If we may ask the LTFRB to clarify the final wording of paragraph C that they had envisioned to properly delineate between the ICT and the LTFRB.
We will provide, Mr. Chair. We will submit.
Mr. Chair, hindi po ba possible to now yung wording that you would like to provide now, or you still need ano ba yun, study pa rin po yung kailangan?
May we be given at least one day to hanggang bukas, Mr. Chair, we'll give you the wordings. Just one day. We'll submit it tomorrow. We will reword to prevent vague provisions.
Please submit that to the COMSEC.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we will do it tomorrow.
Thank you. Any other issue insofar as paragraph C of section
Mr.
8
Chair.
is concerned? Yes.
Last
Let's see, attorney muna.
With the permission of the Honorable Chair.
Yeah, you're given the floor.
So this is only a point of clarification, Mr. Chair. Now, apparently, the intent of the law is to let this motorcycle entity to operate as a common carrier. And that is the wisdom of the law. And when we speak of a common carrier in the light of the definition provided by the Civil Code, in fact, that was even cited in the proposed bill itself. Now, a common carrier encompasses not only passengers, it also includes goods. As long as it is for hire, there is compensation, and then it is offered to the public. The services are being offered to the public. So those are the essential conditions of a common carrier as defined under the law. So if we are to limit now the nature of the service, now by reason of granting the franchise, as to include only passengers, now, well, this representation is asking if there is a potential clash between this particular law and the essence of a common carrier. Now, that is one question, Mr. Chair. The other one is, we were trying to peruse over the title of this provision under Section 8, and it basically defines the authority to grant franchise or permit to operate motorcycles for hire. Now, this is the grant of franchise, and we would like to see our way through, the department would like to see its way through on how this particular grant of authority will be able to permeate the grant or the decision of the ruling of the Supreme Court that tricycle operations now are considered part of the devolved powers of the grant of franchises rather, and the regulation thereof of the former LTFRB has been cascaded now in favor of the LGUs. Now we're just trying to see a possible reconciliation here, if there would be no possible conflict or antithesis between this grant of authority to the grant of franchise authority to the national government as against the authority already devolved or granted in favor of the LGUs, considering that LGUs will be involved primarily in the implementation of the measure, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Yes. Sino sa inyo?
Mr. Chair, just clarification po, Chairman. Chairman, yung ating motorcycle for hire, di ba nag-start po ito yung COVID?
Even before
Yes,
we
COVID.
started 2016.
2016. So
Mr.
before
Chair.
COVID.
Yes, under the previous administration.
Pero ang tanda ko po, yung motorcycle for hire, delivery siya ng parcel of goods. Kasi during that time, nag-stop tayo ng public transportation. Di ba? Na-stop ang ang mobility ng tao eh.
Chairman.
Yes.
Well, in fact, yung question of motorcycle for hire, it started with the balabal, not during the COVID time. Kaya kailangan natin yan, yung law, with regards sa balabal.